Hi everyone! Welcome back to Chelle Crochet for my mid-May update. Hi everyone, welcome back. How are you? I hope you are all doing well. Thank you so much for spending this time with me, and special welcome to everyone who's new. I know a lot of people have come over from Glenda at Creative Grandma, and some people have come over from Carrie Penny Happy Crafty Homemaker, and it's great to have you here. I hope you enjoy what you see, and I love hearing from you in the comments if you have anything you'd like to share with me. Also, I'll let you know that way back, I guess in the fall of 2019, I did a couple of introductory videos where I just answered some questions, and you might find it interesting to go back and have a look at those. And I'll actually link them in the description box of this video. Anyway, welcome everyone. So mid-May, and when the weather starts to get warm, I gravitate towards cotton. So I have been doing quite a few cotton projects, and the first thing I did was I made a new set of coasters, just very neutral, to go with the freeform mandala I had already showed you last time. Pop up a picture here of that. And that is just in a very plain worsted weight Aran colored cotton. And so I had some Bernat Handicrafter Stripey, the stripey one, which I believe comes as Lily Sugar and Cream Stripey in the States, in the colorway linen. And so I made up a new coaster for this year. I like to just challenge myself to make coaster projects. That's becoming a tradition for me. Last year I did one called Lucky Sevens, and this year I am doing one that is this. I haven't named this one yet, but this one is based on a stitch count of 16. So I start in with a magic circle, and I do 16 double crochets into the magic circle, and then from there I do 2 double crochets in each stitch. So we're going to get to a stitch count of 32. And then for the third round, it's V stitches. And so we're back down to a count of 16. So for my V stitches, I chose to just do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, but only skip 1 stitch because I wanted the little extra leeway there for the increase. And then for the 4th round, keeping it super simple, in the chain 1 space created by the V-stitch, I have just done a half double crochet with a double and another half double, and it just gives it a little bit of texture and movement around the edge. So I will write that out in the description box below, so anybody who's interested in trying to make that can have that little recipe. I know Jackie from Hooking in Good Company was asking me about it on Instagram, so want to let you know all about that. And these are, you know, close enough to that family of color to go pretty well with that Lazy Susan mandala I made. And I just also made this little placemat, if you will, that is actually where my Brita sits in the living room. We often have the Brita there so we can keep our water going. And it's a glass table, so I just thought I'd make a little oval shaped small placemat for the Brita to sit on. So there's actually a set of 6 of the coasters in that, and I got all of that out of the one little cake of the Bernat Handicrafter Stripey. The coasters were with a 4.5mm hook, and this is made with a 5.5. And this is just a modified granny stitch. The only difference is that I did 2 doubles instead of 3, and then I finished it the same way. I did my final 2 rounds with then V stitches, and then that little edging. I learned that edging from someone, half double, double, and then half double again, all in the same little grouping there. So that was the first. And for Mother's Day, I'll pop up some pictures here. I did gift the lapgan to my mom, like we talked about last time, but she loves having dishcloths and washcloths, so I did make some more for her in some of the solid colors that she really likes. So a black, a white, and an Aran. And one of the patterns I've been doing, this was actually the first one I made like it in this blue colorway, is based on just doing some double crochets with some double crochet cross stitches. And so just chaining the desired amount for the width, coming back with a row or two, your choice, of single crochet. You could even go single, half double. And then in the next set, 2 rows of cross stitches followed by 2 rows of double crochets to get that nice texture. And so your cross stitches are going to sit out a bit, and it will help it suds up for you, and it looks pretty. So you could have it as either a just regular washcloth or a dishcloth. And I like putting these on. They seem to be very popular when they have the hangers on them. So I think I've made 3 or 4 in this style. I also saw someone talking about a different version of the corner to corner stitch, and if I can, I will link. It was on Instagram, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to link it, but basically, and I've heard Seta from Seta's Place talk about something similar as well, but this one was even more modified, I think. But basically, this person was talking about chaining 5 instead of 6 for your basic corner to corner, and then doing only 2 double crochets, and then the final stitch being a half double in each of your sets. And then again, once you're starting to build it, instead of chaining up 3, only chaining up 2, and then double crochet, half double. So it does make it pop out more. You can see the texture even from back here. And yeah, so I tried it using, for the first time, using the solids of that Red Heart Scrubby Smoothie that I had got from Hirschner's at Christmas time. So yeah, that turned out really nicely. And I did do, I think, 3 rows of the single crochet border just to give it a nice edging, but I like how that turned out. It wasn't too hard to remember to do the stitching differently than I'm normally used to doing for corner to corner. And it's interesting because I was just working on corner to corner for another project, which I'll be talking about at the end of the month. And yeah, it didn't confuse me too much. This one here, I have to remember what I did when I'm looking at these. This one here is a modified lemon peel stitch. So instead of just doing single, double, I was just doing single, half double. So very similar, nice texture. And then this one I tried. I was working up, I have a lot of cotton because I love cotton, but I was working up with some scraps. So you have different colors of things here. This one I did half double, but instead of doing it in the traditional top of the 2 loops, I went on the side, but I still picked up 2 loops. And so the top and the bottom are regular half double crochet for 2 rows. And then I started doing it, and you can see the texture on both sides. Actually, the pattern might make it a little hard for you to see the texture, but there you go. So I went in on the side and still picked up 2 loops. Some people will talk about the 3rd loop, but I wasn't only using a single loop. I was still going under 2 loops. And anyway, I think it turned out nice. And people often ask me for some texture when it comes to especially the washcloths. So I think that accomplished it. And I made a second one in this style for my hubby. He requested in some multi-grays, but it was with the Bernat Handicrafter Scrub Off. I think it's called Scrub Off. And the Scrub Off section makes it so you can't even see the stitches. So anyway, that one's already in use, but yeah. And my one last cotton project, there is a cloth with it, another lemon peel or modified lemon peel. I was talking to Crystal from Ricola's Crochet Corner, and she was telling me about making the tea bags for the teas for Father's Day. And I think she got that from Debbie, the Canadian Crocheter. So I did go over to Debbie's video, and there was a pattern linked. And so it's a free pattern because the pattern comes right up for you. And I did look at that pattern and sort of I guess you could say swatched that pattern up just to get the concept of how the pockets were built, and it gave me an idea for how to do what I ended up making, just because I was able to go into the row below for some of the stitching. So I made a little, I'm calling it like a golf caddy, just sort of play on words there, but it's got a D-ring, which I had bought to do the mask holders. So I had some of these kicking around. So it's got a D-ring so it can snap right onto the golf bag. I got a cloth there because they do need to wipe off stuff from time to time, clubs or whatsoever. And then the cloth is just tied onto the top where I have like a the eyelet row with the chain going through it. So that can come off, and it's kind of like at the back there. And in the front, I did these like little areas to hold 3 tees, and there's more tees in here as well as the practice balls. So this is for my brother for his birthday, which is May the 18th, which is why the video is coming out today and not earlier. Usually I'll try to do quite regularly the actual middle of the month and then the end of the month, but we're a little behind because I didn't want him to see this before. Anyway, there's a bunch of these tees. As you can see, they're poking out at the bottom. And then I put some practice golf balls in there for them. Because my joke is going to be, if you can't beat them, join them. And if you can't join them, practice in the backyard, because we're still on stay-at-home order here. So some of the golfers are quite upset about that part, but not being able to get outdoors, and I don't blame them. Anyway, that is what I came up with. So that's how it looks. And I'm going to make a couple of changes. I don't really care about the tees poking out the bottom because I don't know, like, practically speaking, how many will actually get left in here. And I'm giving them like 12 tees and 6 balls. But I'm going to just lower this a little bit further down so that they'll sit a little further down on the bag. And I started this bag with just a chain of 10. And then I started to do the doubling at the end stitches so that you're increasing just like a normal hat would increase. So but only the end stitches, right? And so, you know, I would get to a certain, and I just did it based on how wide I wanted it. So single crochet at the very bottom, that I worked up to half double and double all the way up, and then back down to this part here where I was placing the tees is a little bit more dense again with the single crochets. So yeah, this is my first time prototype, if you will, and I'm sure my dad's will look a little different, and I'll show you that when I make it at the end of the month, because it'll probably be made by the end of this month for Father's Day. But yeah, I was quite happy with that, and I think it's kind of cool that it'll just hang on the bag. Everything's washable, and there you go. So for this part here, I was able to just chain, and then on the next row, go down and make a double crochet stitch to fill in the gap. So I did that for 2 sets of that, to allow them to stay there and not have a gap behind them. So that worked out quite well. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment and I will be happy to talk to you about it. So I am participating in the Spookier Spring MAO with Carrie Penny, the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and everyone else who's participating. And I'm going to save the finished product for the end of the month in May, but it is, I would say, 85 to 90% done. And it's a shawl or a poncho. I'm still deciding. It's a really big shawl, so we'll see. I may join it up, and I'll just pop up a little picture here so you can get a sense of the colors. But that's the other corner to corner project I've been working on. And then the other thing that has come quite far since the last time we talked is my Cake Pop Take 2 blanket. Everything is done, and I am going to pop up. Oh, I just have a female cardinal visiting me. That's so nice. I'm going to pop up some videos for you at the very end that will show you the assembly required stage. So once I got to my 24 squares, I grouped them based on the cakes that they came from. And then I plotted them out and just tried to just keep, it was going to be a 4x6 organization for 24 squares, and I just wanted to make sure that of my sets of 4, so I had 6 sets of 4, and of my sets of 4 I just wanted to make sure that none of them were in the same row going horizontally, right? They needed to be somewhere else. So I spread them all out, plotted them on my my king size bed just so I could see it, and then laid them out and created their rows of 6 because it's easier to sew the longer rows together and then only have to sew across a few times. So yeah, I whip stitch my grannies. That's how I prefer to do it. And yeah, so those little clips will be at the end, and you'll see how I did in terms of organizing it. And then at the very end of May, you'll be able to see the final product. I am 2 rows of the border in right now of probably 4, so almost done. And that will probably be able to get picked up for the birthday well before the beginning of June. So yeah, that's taken up quite a bit of my time so far this month as well. I am making a little bit of progress on my tangled yarn. And if you don't know what tangled yarn is, if you go, I'll link it in the description box for you. But I was able to purchase 5 kilograms of yarn for a very reasonable price. but some of it was tangled. So more than mill ends, let's just say, and some of it's like been sliced by the machines or tangled up. So you have to ball them up yourselves, and I don't have a ball winder, so I do it manually, and I don't mind doing it at all. But with the black, I wanted to take my time, and I wanted to take it outside to see if there's any obvious different shades of black, and so far there hasn't been, and it's going to be very hard for you to see, but this bag is, I would say, about a third full so far, and I have lots of black to go. One of the bags I got was primarily black, so I don't know, there's probably about 6 this size, and then about another 8 in there that are smaller. But most of it so far has just been nice, thick, worsted weight black, and there's been some that's more like Simply Soft, but interestingly enough, it was attached. So at a certain point, I just saw it go thinner and was able to cut that out and create a different ball so that I don't have to mix them. But that black has been very, very good. Some of the colored ones had been quite cut up and destroyed, so they definitely have to go in the scrap pile so that I make sure that they stay with me. But the black, there's nothing wrong with it. So I'll continue to work on that a little bit at a time. And that's about all I have to check in with you about for mid-May. I will have lots more to show you by the end of the month, I hope. And I'm looking forward to having some more time now that the blanket is done. But I do have some other projects that I have to get going on shortly as well. So it's always good to have things planned out so you don't feel like you're going to lose too much time. Anyway, the clips are going to come up next, and I hope you are all doing well, you're staying safe, and most of all, have a great day and happy crochet. Bye, everybody. Hi, everyone. Just thought I'd insert a little clip here of me starting to organize the squares for my Cake Pop Take 2 blanket. This one is going to be 24 squares. So it is 4 by 6, and it's approximately 2 squares per cake. And I have a little grid, and I have divided my squares up into sort of thematic colorways of how they came out of the cake, with the additions of any yarns I added to work it out. And I plotted them on that grid, but this is going to be my first try to see if I like it, and then I will adjust from there. So let's see how close I got, and I'll be back in a minute. And I'm back, and I only had one problem. I had 2 of the same set in the same 4 across row, so I just had to move that, but I didn't even bother readjusting my template because it wouldn't be easy to do that anyway. So there she is. If I can tilt it, I'm trying not to make you guys dizzy. There she is. These colors go so well together. There's really no going wrong. So, assembly required. Next stage. Bye. Hey everyone, back again with another little update. So assembly required has begun. All of the rows are assembled lengthwise. So all the sets of 6 are now rows, and now I just have to attach the rows. So I just came back, laid it on the bed, and I think I'm only going to make one adjustment and see if you can spot why I might want to. And I am going to turn the camera off and turn it back on when I change it. And we're back. So all I did was move 2 and 3. I flipped them. Flip positions on rows 2 and 3. So we're saying row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4. And now I will sew the long rows together and add a border. Next time you see it, she'll be all done.